If you believe it, you can be somebody. You can be somebody. If you believe it, if you believe it, you can be somebody. You can be somebody. If you believe it. Here I am with my ninja clan. Ninja clan, here we stand. Naruto, I'm on my way. Naruto, I'll be okay. Getting ready to fight on sight. Got my best friends by my side. Sasuke, he's really cool. Sakura, the beautiful. The great Chunin. The great Chunin. The ninja fighters are coming in. If you believe it, you can be somebody. You can be somebody. If you believe it. If you believe it, you can be somebody. You can be somebody. If you believe it. In the village, hidden in the leaves to become Hokage. You better believe Naruto, the chosen one. Naruto, coming up strong. Ninjas waiting for the duel. It's win or die. The world's so cruel. Don't stop. You're moving on. Don't stop. You got to run. The great Chunin. The great Chunin. The ninja fighters are coming in.
Alright, welcome back to Anon of the Week, guys. With me I have Carnevour. Introduce yourself, if you will.
Hello, everybody.
Alright, so as per usual, we're going to talk about anime, then we're going to talk about politics or whatever the fuck. Have you been watching any anime this season, Carnevour?
Yeah, the last one I watched was Made in the Abyss. Do you know about that one?
Oh yeah, I read the manga, so I didn't bother watching the anime. I usually don't bother rewatching things that I've already read the manga for.
I'm lazy. I don't really read the mangas or anything.
Yeah,
I usually watch something.
Well, yeah, if the story is interesting, I'll read it because if it's coming out, I'm just gonna read it. It's there. It's pretty fast to read. But yeah, I tend not to. If I read the manga, unless it's like something I fucking love, I'm not gonna watch the anime. And I think Made in Abyss, like, it was a slow adaptation, so they didn't get to like the coolest parts.
Coolest parts. I'm intrigued now because I did really enjoy it. I like animes that are like not typical shit that's just fan service or whatever.
Oh yeah, I
Actually
mean,
have a
as far
story.
as having a story and an adventure in an interesting setting, it's pretty good. I think it's overrated. I think a little bit. It's sort of a dark fantasy. It opens a bit too slow for me. Even in the manga, I struggled reading the opening bit because it takes so long for them to get anywhere.
I actually really love it. It reminds me of like older animes, and I'm more of a fan of older animes. Like I watched when I was younger, I watched a lot of animes, and then everything after it, which is pretty much became just like bog standard production line where there's like thousands upon thousands of fucking episodes. I just gave up on that shit.
Well, yeah, I tend not to watch long-running series either. I always watch seasonal stuff. I think the longest series I ever watched was Legend of Galactic Heroes, and that's like an exception to the rule. And
no, I used to watch. I used to watch only pretty much. I used to watch only animes that last, like, for example, 2 seasons or 1 season, and then they're just done with their story, and that's it. I like the ones that actually give you closure and doesn't take like 10 seasons or whatever to do, because it becomes bloated and filled with stupid fillers.
Well, usually what happens for the long-running series, they're serialized in things like Shonen Jump, and the story can start out strong, like Bleach and Naruto when they started, like the opening music I used to mention Naruto. Naruto when I started, it was decent. Like it had decent action, had a bunch of characters. It was kind of edgy. Like the tuning exams, people were fucking dying.
Yeah,
but then they ran out.
And everything.
Yeah, they ran out of stuff, and the writer, like The Simpsons, and he had to keep extending it, so it just became power level, people dying and reviving, and just retarded shit, just to keep it fucking running, just to keep the story going. And
yeah, but I always found it quite hilarious. In case of, like, for example, if we're talking about Naruto, it's like almost every fucking episode is just keeps cramming into your head that friendship is important, having friends is amazing.
Like, the power of friendship shit.
Yeah, we get it, move on, please. Like, at least do something else.
It's a classic Japanese theme, the power of friendship and the collective, the power of bugmen collectivism.
You don't have to cram it in every fucking episode.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. It's cliche, but I mean, it's in Shonen Jump. Basically, everything in Shonen Jump is fucking cliche.
Yeah, so Made in Abyss. Pretty much, I think I only watched Made in Abyss because it was suggested by my friend. I don't keep up with a lot of series at the moment.
That's understandable. I have yet to find most people who I've talked to don't tend to watch all that much that season. I think I think Zero Two Fag was watching the most at anybody, if I remember correctly.
But yeah, on the topic of Made in Abyss, I think it's just like, whatever happens when show gets popular or whatever, you have dumb fuck fans attaching themselves to it, like overhyping it, and start to pretty much become a cancer on the community.
Made in Abyss threads?
No, I stay away from that shit all the time. I never go onto actual forums. The only thing I'll go is probably on A, but A is a pile of shit. So
He's not that bad.
It's a bit repetitive.
I mean, it's repetitive, but it's the same as it always was. Like the good thread is that a show will air on a day, and people will talk about it, and that's the good discussion. And then there will be a cancer circle jerk general after that day.
Exactly.
And so when the show airs, you go watch it. You go hang out on the day the thread for the airing, talk about it, and then you're done. I mean, that's all you really need.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying that. A lot of people, yeah, I really liked it, but I wouldn't say it's something groundbreaking. But usually what happens is, like, a lot of people attach themselves to, like, saying, oh, I'm a fan or whatever, and just, like, annoy everybody to hell.
Yeah, weeaboos in real life, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we've all seen them and met them, and that's why the hobby of anime remains stigmatized, non-respectable. Because of all those fucking weeaboo larpers who, like, wear cosplay in public and shit.
Yeah, but it's actually quite funny. I used to watch anime, but at that time I had no interaction with the community, and like after the whole weeaboo phenomenon happened and like they became unsufferable, I started hating anime with a passion, so I would just like go on different
Yeah,
themes and like
I
fucking
mean,
troll them because they were so up their asses
yeah,
about
it
everything. You can make a joke about anime, whatever.
it basically it's people who actually drank the fucking Kool-Aid and are now Japanese mind slaves to spread Japanese culture and values to America.
Or
Basically,
or
the Japanese
Western
propaganda
general.
campaign worked on them, and they are demoralized Westerners with no morals. And so they just picked up anime and it just broke their psychology.
There has to be I think there has to be a border between like liking shit
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
being fanatical about it.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if you look at like the amount of shit I consume in terms of like anime and like idol shows and other shit like of Japanese culture,
Yeah,
it's a lot. Like someone would definitely call me like a giant fucking fanatic nerd, but it's not like I like it because it's interesting. It's from a non-posed culture. It has a bunch of fun and funny tropes and cliches, other stuff that I find entertaining. But it's not like, oh, because of this, I am going to go to Japan and try to get a Japanese waifu, and Japan is greater than America banzai. Uh, and even if a lot of weebs don't actually say that shit, it's kind of implied in their complete lack of like anything else for their identity or life.
I'm still thinking of going probably next year to go to Japan just to
Oh, it definitely
just to
is a
visit.
fun tourist place. There's tons of stuff to do.
Yeah, yeah. I'll just like no, just like to see
Very
it.
rare. It's like
That's
the
it.
last fucking ethno state. It's like a zoo. It's like going to the zoo because you can't see an ethno state that's functioning anywhere else, really.
True, true.
I mean, I guess you can go to like Estonia, but who wants to go there?
Uh, I'm gonna break. Well, Estonia is because I know a lot about it, but I'm not gonna say how. But it's it's uh it's like 30% Russian, ethnically Russian, and
And
like
Slavs aren't white.
70. Well, apparently, I'm just saying that it's not really an ethno state as
Okay.
well as I've been to
I
some
I think
things.
at the current juncture, Slavs for all intents and purposes are white, and
No, I'm not disputing that. I
yeah,
know
but
that.
it's not like a
I know the.
completely homogenous. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, not the same nationality.
Uh, hmm. Your
But
guess
yeah, I've been there. I've been there. I think
is
last
my
year.
internet fucking up? Holy moly! Did I drop frames? I did drop a bunch of frames. Oh yeah, my I guess my Wi-Fi just like shat itself. I dropped a bunch of
Oh,
frames. Okay, well sorry about that, guys. Uh, I'll try to lower my bitrate a little bit. I think that was just Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi life.
chat says it's fine.
And I'll just drop my bitrate a little bit. Okay, there we go. So, besides Made in Abyss, any other anime you wanted to chat about?
Have you watched Trigun?
Trigun. I mean, it was one of those Toonami animes that I just never bothered watching. So I got into anime. I mean, I watched some stuff on Toonami as a kid, like Naruto and some other stuff like that. And then I got into anime like late in the high school. Just because I got bored of being like an Xbox kiddie. There was just not enough there. So I just like
No,
dove deep
because
into the Chinese cartoons.
I'm guessing it's just different for America. The anime wasn't really that popular in Europe, so you had to actually seek it out. It wasn't really transmitted on like TVs or anything. The only thing that I think that was shown on the television, or it was Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon. That's it. Like pretty much only those two
Yeah,
ever managed
I
to
think
appear.
Trigun in the United States did air on Toonami, if I recall correctly.
That's kind of weird because it's quite a.
I mean,
It deals with serious themes, so
yeah.
I'm not sure
Well,
how
there was
it should.
Toonami, and then there was the Adult Swim, and they had some of the the more serious anime like Ghost in the Shell, SAC, and Trigun and some other stuff like that on their late night block. And that's why it was able to air in the US, and that created a lot of weeaboos.
I think Nintendo created a lot of weeaboos.
Yeah. But I never watched it. It looks alright. I mean, I'm just not that big into action stuff, because, like, if I want, like, for how I get my entertainment, if I'm, like, in the mood for action-y shit, usually I'll just, like, go play an action-y video game or something. And just, you know, engage in Ugandan Bruce Lee action myself. I won't, I mean, I like action in media in terms of, like, just as, like, an entertaining aside, like a break from, like, talking or whatever, but I'm not, like, I don't seek out series based around, like, violent fighting all that much anymore. Like, it used to be big for me, like, but it's not, I find it kind of repetitive.
I think it's, I still have some kind of nostalgia because I watched it at a young, like, when I was into anime, so, well, as...
People tend to have that a lot about those sorts of anime, like Trigun, Full Metal Alchemist, all the ones that aired on Toonami. They're like, oh, I love that.
Yeah, same with like Hellsing. I still
original Hellsing gets a lot of shit just because Ultimate is so much better. But I actually liked original Hellsing.
I only watched the original Hellsing. That's the thing.
Oh, Hellsing Ultimate's really good. It's an OVA series, so they actually have a giant budget. It adapts it more accurately, and it's like super violent and really fucking good. It's like a movie, basically, like a series of movies, basically. Hellsing Ultimate, definitely go watch that.
Yeah, I'll need to check that out.
Yeah, the Hellsing series sort of rushes things and does things a little half baked, but it's still cool.
Yeah, it was one of the first that I watched. Loved it. I find like animes that go more for a serious tone or talking about like issues in society or whatever interest me more rather than just your.
There's not too many of those, but
exactly, that's why it's really hard to find it.
I mean, there's like what Serial Experiments Lane.
I mean, yeah, go on.
Have you seen Serial Experiments Lane?
No, I haven't seen that one.
That's a classic you should watch if you're interested in sort of more high-minded stuff. Someone at chat says, but you admit Ultimate is better? Yeah, Ultimate's obviously better than the original series, but the original series isn't terrible. It's good. It's fun to watch.
I think it's really good, but I don't have a point of comparison, so I'll check it out later.
Yeah, my internet is dying. Oh, no wonder my internet's dying. Okay. All right, maybe I think it'll be better now. Are we back? Are we back? Oh yeah. My Wi-Fi adapter fell into like a crevice, and it was like just being like fucking blocked by everything. So that's why I was lagging earlier. I just looked down and I moved it.
Are you using Wi-Fi connection or?
Yeah, I'm using Wi-Fi connection because we can't run cables in a rental. I should get power over Ethernet, but you know, it's not a big concern. I'll just have shitty internet. So are we back, guys? Can you hear us? Are we there? Or are you refreshed?
Still F's in the chats.
There are some F's in the chats, but are we back up? Okay, yeah, okay. Anyways, yeah, sorry for the shitternet, my audience. The Hellsing original series, Hellsing Ultimate, Serial Experiments Lane. I would also recommend, in that vein, Textualize, although that's a bit slower.
I don't mind slower. I mean, like, I've recently, like, I've been recommended a few other animes, and like every time I watch them, it's just like, this isn't for me. The biggest red flag that I got, and I started to question the taste of my friend was like Sword Art Online. I heard the memes and everything. But I'm like, well, okay, fucking fine. I'll give in and just give it a watch. And holy fuck, I just watched 2 episodes and I say, no, I'm done with this.
Yeah, Sword Art Online is the quintessential. It's just the most stereotypical of this new isekai genre that has popped up in Japanese literature, or not even literature. It's called light novels, basically just like young adult novels. That basically how the Japanese industry works for anime is someone will write a light novel, and then to promote the light novel, they'll adapt an anime, air it on television, and then hopefully that'll boost the sales of the light novel. And they did the same
that's what
thing.
they do at the moment.
Yeah, and they did the same thing with manga. And there's not too many original anime.
Yeah, they want to sell like manga rather than.
And so in the light novel sphere, for the past couple of years, there's been just endless, like thousands and thousands of novels written where you get trapped in another world and you're like a harem protagonist, and you get all these cuties, and you're super overpowered and you beat everybody, and it's just like, there's a million novels.
Very, very, and like every girl wants your dick, even though you're autistic and fucking stupid.
Yeah. JF is about to go live with Spencer and Fuentes. Oh, that's cool. Might watch that later. Sounds interesting. Might talk about that later.
Spencer, did you get the apparently WikiLeaks dropped that Spencer's been getting money from Clinton or whatever?
Spencer was getting money from the Clinton Foundation.
The Clinton Foundation, yeah.
And he was controlled op the whole time, huh? Or is that fake news?
No, apparently it's currently spreading around on poll. I haven't had time to check it out.
All right, well, whatever.
But I mean, like, any person will just,
I mean, it would stand to reason that Spencer is fucking control op.
Yeah, he comes out of nowhere.
He appears out of nowhere, and he gets on every major news media network. And he does the circle on the news media network, representing what the right wing, the far right, is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
So
there wasn't a term alt right.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't exist at all. And then
so the Democrats know that civnat cuckery and libertarianism and all this other shit plays much better to the center. This sort of farther right than the Republicans in terms of civil liberties. And if this right got a bunch of traction, it would definitely grab the middle of the country. And so if this is just speculation, but if their strategy was then to make the right less appealing to the independents, but they didn't account for like the pure violent hatred in the American populace after 8 years of Obama. But their strategy was, okay, so if we make the alternate right be basically Nazis, nobody will want to touch them, and then the civnat cucks will not unite. Unfortunately for them, they said fuck the Democrats anyways, and their strategy backfired. And so now the far right is actually working out pretty well in terms of at least existing and being and gathering people and being like a thing. But it was definitely them trying to push farther than they thought would be handleable to the public.
I think so. I'm pretty sure it just was a tactic to group all the extreme opinions or whatever, and just like put them under a pretty umbrella and like say, oh, look at this, all of them are evil Nazis and everything. So like anybody even closer to the right will be just told as alt-right, even though, for example,
I even think Trump was also he wasn't controlled opposition, but he was supported by the media under the directions of the corporatists and the Clintons and all that, and the Democratic cabal. During the primaries, they supported Trump because they thought he would tear down the chances for all the other Republicans, and they thought he would be an easy victory. So they supported Trump because he was basically not very Republican in the traditional sense, and he was tearing down all the other Republicans. And then they thought they could beat him easily. Unfortunately, Hillary Clinton was barely a candidate. Like she didn't even run for president. Basically, it was just like they
just pushed her out.
Yeah, it was just the cabal running for president. All the votes were like from just the cabal brainwashing. It wasn't even, nobody voted for Hillary Clinton, the person. Not a person I know was like, oh, I love Hillary Clinton. I never met anyone.
Oh, okay.
Even living on a fucking super democratic college campus, I didn't see meet anyone who was like really enthusiastic about Hillary Clinton. There was people lining up around the block to see Bernie Sanders when he visited her college, but definitely nobody was excited, and they it was just their hubris. The video output low.
Oh, I guess they had like, oh, we'll get a woman and everything else.
Oh well, yeah. Well, they thought the same thing that would happen for Obama would happen for Hillary, where everyone's okay. Let's all vote for the vagina.
They just like they just say, oh, he's
and what they didn't account for is white women voting for Trump, because the traditional white women, just they don't see any value in someone like fucking Hillary Clinton.
I still think that the whole shtick of, well, we can get into that later, if you want to talk about some anime some more, or do you want to go to the?
I mean, well, we just naturally transitioned to politics. We can go back if you have anime you want to talk about. It seemed. Do you have anything you wanted to chat about? Because I've seen a lot of series.
No, I guess we can stick on the political stuff now.
Worked for comedic success with Amy Schumer and Sarah Silverman. Yeah, those people are completely unfucking funny, and I can't stand to watch a 5-minute bit of them. Like it's just fucking cringy. Female comedians are a joke in themselves.
I'm not like super familiar with
just really stupid, shitty
media.
Jewish female comedians.
Is it Amy Schumer, the fat cunt
Yes.
that constantly jokes about the vagina or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. But I don't know who that is, sadly.
Yeah, and so Sarah Silverman is like the Jew girl who got her start being edgy on SNL, and then the second she made it, she stopped being edgy and called it, and was like turned full SJW, and it's like, oh, you can't be an edgy comedian.
Well, yeah. I have no idea.
Don't worry about it. Honestly, your life is better for not knowing about them.
Yeah, I just don't understand these people.
And that's also how I feel about a lot of the internet lolcow shit. It's entertaining for like 15 minutes to watch somebody self-implode, but after that, it's like I am not gaining anything over fucking learning about this autist furry fapper who sticks coat hangers in his ass. Like this information does not enrich my life in any way, and I tune out.
I guess you can if you can tell a good story about
I mean, yeah, if you can present a good story about it, then it's entertaining to watch. But like obsessing about it, I don't know, it's fucking weird to me. Like, ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, I still think that like the current democratic system is insanely flawed. You shouldn't really have people be given the right to vote. They should really earn it.
So you think? Yeah, I would agree with that. Egalitarian democracy is a big joke, and it basically means you functionally turn into an oligarchy.
Yeah, exactly. And just like as you pretty much need the votes to justify your legitimacy in this.
Well, yeah,
like
the thing,
the political sphere.
Basically, the elites will always want an egalitarian democracy. Somewhat.
Yeah, of course, because they get the most of it.
But they get most control over it. The stupider, the more manipulable, the more bribable the populace is, the more controllable it is. So, egalitarian democracy is what sank America. Giving women the vote, giving everybody the vote that aren't landowners. That's what sank it.
But I reckon not even landowners. I think you need to do like you need to institute some kind of system that.
We could do it a few ways. You could do military service. You could do.
You can do military service, or you can do like I don't know, exams of knowing the inner political situation.
Unfortunately, the libcucks have made the exams a dirty word because if you can't pass the literacy exam, then you're like. Then it's racist because ghetto niggas don't know what Congress does. like fucking retarded.
Well, then that's the thing. It just becomes a a contest of who can get who can bullshit the most and like
who
promise
can promise the
gifts
most,
to.
give the gives me that's the most, and it's the failure of democracy. I watched I forgot what it was called. It was a documentary on Netflix about Chinese school children doing mock elections, and so like it was just like going over like how the school system works in China, and then they had this one class go over like a mock election, and they had one person basically running on like idealistic reforms for the being a school president to help everybody's life, and they were the better speaker. And then at the end of the documentary, the competition gets help from his parents, and he walks into the class and says, "Everyone who votes for me gets a free dinner out to this one restaurant." And then they all cheer, and he wins the election. And I thought it was I thought it was such an interesting
representation of like the current state of the market. Yeah, like
of any democracy, democracy in general, and it was just like, makes
because
you think.
It cannot function in a society that is fucking stupid. It needs intelligent people to actually sustain it, and the problem is every time. I think it's just human nature when comfort becomes.
It's the thing is also in our current education system, it's sort of an insidious.
It's just a brain.
It's brainwashing.
Even here in Europe, it's brainwashing.
Yeah, but I just wanted to describe a way I think it works is so they teach you all of the old history where you were barbaric, and then they say, okay, so now we have all these freedoms, and your right to vote is important, and civic participation is important, when mathematically it's not. Individually voting does not actually change anything. It is more politically effective to convince a bunch of other people to vote than it is to go out to the poll and vote yourself, unless it's like convenient. Like I voted a few times anyways, just because like I could just walk out there and it's like by where I was. But yeah, it's like functionally it's not that important. So what they tell you, they give you this fantasy where your vote is important. It's endemic to you, like your ability to vote is endemic to you and the republic and your identity and the values of America. Even though that's a lie, that's not. America wasn't about the vote of the individual. It was always about just being ruled by people who are not tyrants. It was about solving the problem of tyrants and having reasonable free men rule themselves. But having the individual's vote was just a method to choose the ruler. It wasn't. It's just a methodology. It's nothing sacred about it. But they push this sort of sacred story about it, and then by the time people get out of schooling, if you would suggest that we change the voting system to have less people vote, it's sacrilege. It's literal. You're worse than Hitler. It's complete evil. Because this right to vote is endemic to your being and your value and participation in civil society, even though functionally it's not. Like any academic, any political scientist or economist will tell you, voting doesn't matter. They'll only tell you this in college, but like because
they want them to be apparently active, but the only activity they do is like either just LARP as like
it's LARPing,
activists.
So
LARP as activists, and that's it. They don't really influence anything. They don't change the direction the country is going. They will just like feel good about themselves and then just like forget about it.
And so that was the schooling when I was growing up. Now it's getting even worse with Common Core shit, and just they go full leftist propaganda SJW shit with like loving the state. The state is more important than your family. Giving all your personal information in a survey while you're like in kindergarten.
That's pretty much
a bunch of shit. And Europe is basically the same.
That's like Soviet times.
Yeah, Common Core is Soviet, basically.
No, I mean, like, I'll tell you, there was, in Soviet times, there was classes on reading the Communist Manifesto, actually, like, studying it, and remembering all the literature that like Lenin or Stalin or whatever wrote down, and these were actually really important. They were called ideology classes. So it's pretty. Just when I hear about this, it's so amazing.
Well, what they did
it's like a sweet irony.
They don't call it ideology class, obviously, because there would be riots. They call it English, and in English class, you learned why to love the state and why individualism is bad, and we need to get rid of the Second Amendment in English class. Like, if you look over the English material, this is like their practice English material is like doing emotional appeals, learning about why the Second Amendment is bad. It's like the most insidious shit I've ever seen. And
I'm surprised that the illiteracy rate in the US hasn't dropped if that's what you do in English classes.
Well, I mean, literacy rate is proportional to the amount of minorities in our country, but
no, I'm just talking in general who go through the educational system in the US, because I heard it's absolutely
they teach collectivism. Definitely, collectivism is very well taught, and it's a collective of. It's kind of use a liberalist meme. It's a collective of individuals who everyone's rights and votes matter, when functionally and to the elites they do not. And it's like a joke. It's like everyone is collectively this citizen, and we're all in the boat together, but it's all a sham. It's not true.
What if you're a collective of individuals, though?
Yeah, like if you want to look at how effective a collective of individuals is, just look at high school graduates. All the books you read in English. Yeah, all the books I read in English were fucking gay as shit. Like we read.
That's why I don't understand is how can you have a class named English and not learn the actual language instead of learning bullshit like we're collective or whatever.
My English class at least went over the fucking all this stuff, but in our classes, they would definitely go over the basic grammar and shit and make sure they can at least understand the propaganda they are being fed. But that's like the bare minimum. You just got to be able to understand what you're being told, and then once that, you're
so
good.
they don't go through like how the language is supposed to be structured.
And on the reading lists for English classes in the United States, a high school system are ridiculous. Basically, they're almost all commie lesbian shit. It's almost always about black people. It's you will rarely find a book that is like all anti-capitalist too. Like fucking Of Mice and Men is like, oh, we got to read Of Mice and Men because working on the farm is so harsh, and this guy goes crazy because he works on the farm and he got to get put down. And Grapes of Wrath, and capitalism is so terrible. These Dust Bowl farmers are getting arbitraged. It's just fucking, it's nonsensical. And then that don't even get me started on the fucking Holocaust books.
I see the chat.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. That's quite amazing because I never had this shit. If we had our English, if we have for example the modern
we did go over the classics a little bit, very briefly. We went over the Odyssey, some Shakespeare. We went over
because for example, when I was in school, we studied, and that's when I was in school, we had two subjects. We had the actual language class and we had the literature class. So in literature, we'll just read like pretty much all literature, write essays and that bullshit about it. But in language class, we actually learn how to properly use the language and structure it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a few English classes.
It's quite amazing.
That went over
I never touched about the Holocaust, and we never got maybe only
it tells you how fucking Zionist owned our country is when there's literally like at least 2 years of time average schooling, at least when I was there, for the Holocaust, and now I'm guessing it's increased the amount of time you get exposed to Holocaust shit. I remember the fucking tweet with that stupid cunt El Wagwabina about Holocaust class. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, because we only got the Holocaust like when in history classes near the World War II, era, and even then we'll just like it'll not be the major part of it. It'll just be like, oh, this
I do
this
remember
happened,
though. I wrote an
but 6
essay.
million.
We had to write essays about the book. I think we read Night, the book about and we're in the camps and it's night. We got fucking cattle card and starving to death and all that shit. Anyways,
But what the fuck do you need to like fucking read a book about somebody pretty much diary instead of just going through the actual history?
Because you need to shame white people into loving Jews. That's why. Anyways, I wrote an essay about it, and I wasn't even like red pill at that time. I was just fucking observant, and I was just like an autist who would just say what came to mind. And I wrote like an essay about like how the Soviets killed more people, and how we should value the Soviets and the Chinese deaths more, or more of the same because of just the value. And I didn't get in trouble. I got an A on the paper because I guess my professor was based at the time.
Yeah, that I never understood that. In school, I had a guy who was partly Jewish, so he got really fucking pissed with me when I told that, like, the Holocaust, you're just exaggerating the Holocaust. I mean, like, so there was like more Soviets who died. Why are the Jews?
There were more Chinese who died.
Yeah, like Soviets, Chinese.
There are more Chinese civilians who died than even the stated number of the Holocaust, which is suspect.
Yeah, and like he got lit. He got lit up. It's like, oh, you don't understand. They were systematically killed. Like, holy shit! Like Russians, like Soviets and Chinese got systematically killed as well. You don't hear them bitching and moaning about.
Yeah, they don't have
Holocaust,
the Holodomor museums, and they don't like say, oh, everybody needs to go to the Holodomor museum and sort of like a rite of passage, and we got to tell everybody about how we suffered, and it's just like it's literally just playing the victim. Like it happened 70 years ago. It is almost out of living memory. Like, let it go, move on, stop being a fucking cabal trying to weasel your way into people's empathy psyches because your fucking grandparents got killed in a war. Who cares?
Yeah, but I guess that's like, I guess Jews have a really good way of monetizing any tragedy, so they're really good at that. I'll just, even a tragedy that's something that you should like be mournful about, they'll still make money out of it.
Yeah, I think we didn't watch Schindler's List, or maybe we got out of watching Schindler's List somehow, if I remember correctly. Or at least I didn't watch it. I never remember watching it in class, but I remember that it was on the fucking schedule. Yeah, it's just, yeah, all the media, all the fucking the books you read, the movies they make you watch, it's all like cucked leftist shit. I remember we had to watch Jon Stewart a few times in class.
I think if you talk about current educations, like public schools are absolutely
bullshit. And we were supposed to.
You should never send your child there.
Exactly. And I was in supposedly one of the highest tax brackets, highest rated public schools for wherever I was, and it was just like, oh, it's just like the same shit. Even like AP government and history class, like you learned a lot more in-depth knowledge, but you're still getting cucked by like a bunch of other undertones and like the readings and stuff like that, and like the sort of standards people uphold.
Well, I guess it's pretty much the parents' job.
Yeah, I remember reading about how it was the original Prussian education for the masses was designed in order to make better soldiers and peasants and workers.
Well, yeah, and Prussia was a military with a state instead of a state with a military.
And so, if you look at how our schools still follow the same Prussian model, at least in terms of like periods and like having like IDs and all this other shit, like it's very clinical and factory like. Black people are equal. That's why there are none of them in this
None of them in
advanced
the
class.
advanced class.
That is true. I don't remember any black people. Well, we had like 2 black people in school, so it's not like it was a good time.
Did he drop out?
No, they were like the Uncle Tom black people who were like whiter than me.
Ah, all right.
Those people still exist, and they usually live in like all white neighborhoods, and they're whiter than me.
I mean, like, it's pretty. I guess we can go a little bit of back topic. I don't know if you consider the Boondocks as an anime.
I mean, if you want to talk about Boone, I didn't watch it like all that much. I watched a few episodes back in the day.
No, I watched it a bit, and I think that they have a really good like insight on what's the issue.
Well, yeah, it was satire done by a bunch of black people making fun of all the stupid nigger shit that goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
And they can only get away with it because they're black people and Jews.
They're black, yeah.
If a white person tried to produce that show, it would not fly. It would not have been aired. So it was aired for a while, and it just went over all the stupid nigga shit, and it was and black people appreciate it because a lot of them.
Don't really like the nigga shit.
The smarter niggas I know are fucking upset when they have to deal with like the brainwashed blacks who like truly believe like about like oppression and the fucking institutionalized racism and slavery and the Confederate flag is like is a symbol of evil and all this shit. Like they're basically brainwashed. And any fucking black person I talk to who doesn't like value this shit like religiously is just like fed up with having to deal with their fucking brainwashing. So they like things like the Boondocks, which sort of lampshades and makes fun of it.
But yeah, I think well, I grew up on a post-Soviet educational system. I think that compared to the current one, you can talk shit about the commies all you want. I agree with that, but they had a really good educational system.
Well, yeah, like the Chinese, the Asian countries have a better education system too. They still have a bunch of dumb shit you got to do in terms of like they're very wasteful with their time.
You have shit ton of useless, pointless shit, but it's all. I think the more like the more diverse you can call it, the more diverse subjects you can learn in school is the better, because it's better to be like to know a lot of things differently, and then choose a path that you can follow rather than have like only a few subjects and then just go through how many 9 or 10 years of education, just like a fucking dolt.
Yeah, I mean, looking back on my education, I'm sure many people are feel the same. It's just a bunch of wasted time. Like so much time is wasted on completely nonsensical subjects or in ways of skills that are not important, and it's just a big joke a lot of the time. But at least the Asian and I guess the Soviet education system had they focus on shit like math and fucking shop skills and.
Yeah, we had when I was studying in school, we had crafts pretty much till.
Yeah, if you go to any upper class American school,
4 years or 5 years, yeah.
They barely have any, if at all, like practical use tools
it's
for
not
your
like,
hands.
Yeah, and we actually had to use tools and I had to use tools and
the tech club had like a little bit of a machining shop because they went for engineering competitions, and that was the club I was in back in the day.
And of course, girls had their shit where they had to like sew, cook, and all the things that they should do. To be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it's just that we have one of the worst education systems in the world in America here, and it's just like run by stupid commie SUWs, and it's not even like the hard productive Soviet kind of commie, just like the disgusting Californian kind of commie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you watched that I don't want to really bring it up, but like the medical stream, the last one,
Yeah.
like the R1, where this thought was there. And, like I couldn't believe that these people actually exist. And
Oh,
like,
you're talking about the girl who like ratted on Ice
who
Poseidon
called
to
the
try
police.
and get Ice Poseidon arrested.
Yeah, exactly that one. I couldn't believe that there's actually people like that. I mean, like, she just useless. How is she even alive? I don't understand.
I mean, well, yeah. I mean, basically, if people who go through our modern education system, they exit it in an infantile state, and if they don't have any pressure to leave that state, they're not going to change. They're just going to be like a fucking man child or woman child for a fucking eternity.
Yeah, but she's like, wasn't she like 40 or 50 and she cannot do the fucking most basic ass things? How the fuck is she still alive? Well, that's my question.
Gives me that and sugar daddies. Like you could be a fucking full retard woman and live fine because you can just suck someone's cock.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. I know quite a few of those.
Yeah, like you don't. Like, if you're a girl, you don't have to be fucking smart. You don't have to do shit. And that's what always got me about the fucking the sort of suffragette feminists who like oh, we want to go get a career and work, and like why? Like why do you want to go do that? Why don't you just go have kids? That seems like the fucking nicest deal ever. If you could find someone decent.
You don't need to work. You don't.
Yeah.
Well, you do
But
like
what they do is they have their cake. They want to go play around in a career and like say, oh, I was like a real person for a while. I did a career and I accomplished kind of thing, but I'm going to quit halfway, and I'm going to go have kids halfway after not really having much of a career.
and after riding the cock carousel for a while.
Yeah, and after having flings while you play around in the career. So they want to have their cake and eat it too, but increasingly they're finding these sorts of people are not wanted to make families and aren't really fit to make families, and it just all falls apart. And it's just like, why did you give this up? Like the patriarchy meme shit. Like the patriarchy is a good thing. You literally get a free fucking meal ticket. All you got to do is suck dick and clean the house. Like that's it. It's fucking. It's like it gives half the population the ability to be a NEET at will. Like why would you give that up? You played yourself.
Oh, independent. As I said, there is a good point. I don't remember who made it. Is like, they just wanted to feel important that they can control their vagina rather than a man can control their vagina. So they say, I don't need a man, and
Strong, independent woman.
I can use my vagina however I want. And because I don't need a man, I can be independent. And and to be independent, I need finances, of course. So I want to work. It's pretty much came from there.
Yeah, but independence is a meme. The family unit is what is important. Independence is a Jewish consumption meme. Like, there's no point in being independent from your broader genetic family and your heraldry and your lineage.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Family is pretty much destroyed after. You can say, I don't think you'll agree with me, but I think after you can say the fall in values,
Christian values.
Family was destroyed.
Well, I would agree. Family was straining under other forces as well before the Christianity completely went away. But yeah, I would agree also that was holding it down as well. The thing is, but that's also another thing is in the godless world of like, so what is there in this world if there's no fucking God? There's the state. Okay, so you can be a person who loves the state, but what is that? Where does that get you? It doesn't really get you anywhere. You just become
it gets you it gets you tased 18 times in the bathroom naked.
As someone's asking for the too long didn't watch of the Laheim and BYBS, there's plenty of
channel.
And Capistan's channel, and there's plenty of stuff written about it on various boards if you know where to look. So, anyways, besides that, so there's the state, and you could be a state worshiper, and that might get you some gives me that, but that's about it. And then there's the family. There's the family and the state.
I think there's a third one. It's pretty much just consumerism. You just
yeah. There's wealth.
You try to fill in the emptiness.
You're right. There's hedonism. There's worshiping the state. There's worshiping hedonism, and then there's the family unit. So if you're not just looking out for the family unit over above all else, then there's nothing in our immoral society. If no fucking God or any other morals, there's just no other argument to be a hedonist or a fucking a statist. There's no real argument for it.
You'd be. I mean, I have to socialize due to my profession.
Yeah.
So I mean, and the amount of drug addicts. I mean, not even drug addicts, drug users that are in the range of 25 to 30 is just unbelievably high. I can't believe that. And they feel proud about it. That's the most sickening thing. They feel proud.
People are proud to be hedonistic.
They waste like half of their salary on shit like weed, cocaine,
and alcohol, and going to raves and shit. Like I remember growing up, the Zeitgeist was basically your social success and standing is based off of how degenerate you are, how much binge drinking you have done, how much drugs you have done, and then like how much sex you've had, and that's your social value in our world where there's no values besides hedonism. And I could never get on board with that. I always found it fucking weird and gross. I'm like, why is this? And I just fucking became a hermit. I lived like a hermit for like my fucking life, just because I couldn't stand that shit.
Well, the thing is that my outlook on life currently is pretty much nepotistic. I only care about my family and my future family. So I have to. I think I have to do something to secure future.
I understand that. Yeah.
So I have to, and I work in a position. I work in a sphere that requires a lot of like interaction with people, and you have to learn how to put, you can say, a mask. Like, oh yeah, I'm totally with you guys. Haha, this is so amazing.
Oh, I love hedonism. Like,
I love hedonism. I love.
What the fuck? I love hedonism now.
Mm-hmm. I love drinking like fucking till 5 in the morning, 6
Tequila, like blacking out, and then, puking on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't.
Even my parents and their compatriots value themselves in terms of hedonism. Like when they chat about stuff, they talk about their old party days in college and when they went drinking on like work vacations and stuff. It's like, it's basically there's nothing like in our nihilistic society that's what people have latched onto. Because
there's nothing. They don't want to talk about anything that's outside their insanely, you can say, shallow experience of just I drank. Wow, you did a basic human function. You went out, you drank alcohol, and then you drank to the point when you vomited.
Yeah, and they try to use for some reason they're like they do the peer pressure socially. Oh, why don't you go blackout drunk and be a degenerate party thing? This is my problem with Laheim back in the day. He was trying to be like a fucking a moral orator sort of political figure. Meanwhile, he values his self-worth is based off his fucking hedonism, and he derides others for not being hedonistic. I'm like, what are you doing?
I think I remember that stream where like somebody, I don't remember who was, somebody said something about Jew Chim, as I call him, and he like called from a party or whatever.
Yeah.
He got there and like, what the fuck did you say about me?
Yeah, he's just calling while he's going out drinking. He's like, I have a life. I am normal. I go out and drink every day. I pay money so I can go party and pay pig for Tonka and the right stuff.
Yeah,
like that's not a life. There's nothing there. There's no value in any of that. It's all material shit. It's valueless. It's not a life. People will say it's a life. It's not.
It's pretty much like a circle where you work to drink and then
it's a Skinner box. It's a dopamine treadmill. It's like Call of Duty 4. You level up, you unlock a new gun. And in life, you level up, you get to go to a party, and you get a beer or some fucking hard liquor. And you're like, oh, this is my loot box I earned for the week. And then you go back to work and you earn more for your loot box. It's fucking stupid and pointless. Oh, people in chat who maybe haven't seen me in a while, yeah. There was a bunch of internal drama and other shit, and also I was just being a lazy fuck, and that's why I didn't do Anon the week last week. So now it's sorry for being belated. So now we're doing it now.
That's fine. Yeah. So I think, and this is I got into heated conversation on the honk server, is that apparently people don't take kindly to people that want to pursue a goal in like actually amassing wealth and then influencing policies instead of just like reposting or sharing stuff on the internet.
I mean, yeah, but honestly, unless you're already in a good position to do so, or you have some like innovative way you think you're going to be really successful wildly, then I think it's kind of goofy to think that you're going to actually, you know, become like a multimillionaire and throw in your 0.25% of influence into the ring. Like,
I think it's still better. I think it's still better than to just do the, I can say, influencing.
oh, I agree. Yeah. Well, that's the problem there is, and I think we've discussed this many times on the streams, the sort of the eternal argument me and Joachim had was I was saying that as you participate in society through your work, and if you are controlled by a subversive state, then all your tax money is directly funneling into stuff that is destroying it's like one step forward, two steps back.
I understand. I understand your philosophy. I heard it that working, it's pretty much.
I don't know what government you live in, but if your government's less paused than our government, when we pay taxes, we fund. I don't think so. If we fund Common Core and shit, like we fund fucking brainwashing and like gender study grants and other stuff like that. You fund the 2 steps backwards with your forward momentum, and there's not like a cabal of white people who are selfless enough to throw all their money in the ring to prevent all this. It's not like the Zionists had a giant fucking chunk of change, and they did like a targeted takeover of American politics. There's not like a similar group of white people who are going to do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think more people that are on the right should actually try to. Well, it's not going to be a one generational thing, but
it's going to take a long time going through the traditional channels.
At least try to start to go towards that goal. Do pretty much what the Jews did, and amass wealth and try to influence politics through, like, you can say, cabals.
My thoughts on it are, instead of going directly
for neat.
Not even neat nationalism. I figured out as a meme myself, and then I defended it for fun on stream, but people got really artistically angry. Like, I knew it was a fucking meme. I said the same day when people were attacking me for it. I said on the same day
that was a massive dog pile, though.
Yeah, it was fucking stupid. Like I said on the same day that neat nationalism will never work. They could just do a draft or just discriminate in welfare. The government will never be harmed by it because they have easy outs that would automatically pass. So in that vein, I was like, okay, neat nationalism is a joke, but I'm still gonna argue it because it's funny. And then everyone got really fucking triggered. The normies, like they're fucking Pavlov dog bell triggered, and like, oh, if you're not working, then you're an evil degenerate. And even though I just work so I can be a degenerate, Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
So I can go drinking out and have like one night stands, and then brag about it.
well, no, well, person to person, I would have kept arguing it, but it's like it's just it's just easily debunked of an argument, you know.
I think it's just there's just people's outlook. Like they cannot fathom why a person won't want to work. It's like, oh, you're a drain on the society, and it's like, to be honest, there's more draining the society than one need staying
Yeah.
at home collecting anime figures.
Well, yeah, they were too retarded to debunk it, and I just felt I was just like tired of talking to retards for 4 hours.
Especially,
So I just let it go.
especially a
Anyways,
special retard who kept screaming into
yeah,
the fucking mic.
so many retards and fucking like I even as I was leading on Tonka during the argument to try to like make him like use a policy argument, but he was just being like a spur and just like in his race car bed in pajamas and just saying, "Get a job. I'm going to talk to your daddy." Like get out of your fucking race car bed in your pajamas. Clean up your fucking bunghole that got molested and start acting like a fucking human being who can discuss a topic like a human being.
Exactly, daddy, no.
Daddy, no. Anyways, the fucking so I moved from that position because of its untenableness, and also because I guess working a job and being tax neutral, I think is better, and then just working in some creative or productive way to help society. So in my mind, it would be making some form of media, be it like a book or like a film or something that inspires that directly inspires the actions of the elite that would change society.
Yeah, of course. If you actually produce something, that's
Yeah,
absolutely fine. But I don't think there will be, unless my outlook on that is, unless you become the elites won't move because they have it really good now, so they won't change unless there's some social catastrophe that happens that forces it to change something. It will never happen. That's my outlook on what's currently going on in Western societies.
yeah,
They'll just as long as they're making money and they have the power they hold, they will never change. They will just continue to course until something fucks up, and they'll try to use the other party to their benefit to keep the money and the power.
yeah. Well, I just thought for my own sanity and productivity, I would rather try to be a patron artist that is beloved by some elite, and then like the fucking Rasputin figure who manipulates people through their charisma, their creativity. Uh, like make something that someone becomes an obsessive fan of, with like red pilled ideology within it, and then that fan, like if you have enough fans, then like by the numbers game, you've influenced an elite person who eventually
No, that's absolutely viable. It's
So
just
yeah,
saying
if
that
you're
they just
like me
unless
personally,
it's
I found that I would rather like this year where I haven't been doing much. I was reflecting on what do I want to do my time with, and I found writing to be very enjoyable, and I have a temperament that lends itself to it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try pursuing this for a while, and I have been, and I think that was something I'm interested in doing moving forward, and I'll like partition my time to write, and maybe like put like the red pill shit in there, and try to get it around. And that's what I'm going to do moving forward, and that's what I like doing, and what I was going to do. But if you're less minded like that, and you don't really have something you're gonna pour yourself into, then yeah, just work, have a family, like that.
no. That's, as I said, my one is
Yeah,
my like my outlook is that uh, you should work because I think I'm too old to actually like get into positions of like power, because
yeah,
if you want to start to actually be going into like politics or whatever, you pretty much do it from, well, childhood. You say you attend like stupid
I don't have any writings out. I honestly,
Perfect.
as people are ask or try to ask me about writing. I don't have any writings or fanfics or any of that shit out. I've barely written any fiction besides like this past year and a half where I decided to start doing it. And I've been exploring various things, and I have like a few I have like 100 pages or so of like random stuff lying around of different stories. Um, but since I was in college, I wrote all the time for like essays and shit, and like just for schooling, I've been basically writing all this time. So I never did it at a leisure. And now that I'm not doing anything, doing it at leisure, I found it extremely fun. And so that's what I'm doing now. Is just writing shit.
And just to answer to Carrie,
Carrie,
I
no, it
say like,
won't. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm gonna get like some shitty job that'll pay the rent. That's it. Like, and
no, I mean
I'll
like for
work as little as possible.
example, like Styx does books, and apparently he says that it covers his living expenses.
Yeah, like well, he does like if you can
A
get good
cool
enough
shit.
at it, yeah. If you can get good enough at editing, like as my skills progress, I'll probably be able to maybe swing like an editing job or two, and then I can actually live off it. But it'll take a while. Like my skills have to progress from from doing it daily to be enough to make money off it. Otherwise, I'll just work and I'll find some part-time job with decent pay, and I'll just fucking work and write. Who cares? I don't want much wealth. I'm not really interested in making a family in degen society. If that's your goal and you want to do that, and like making a family is also a creative endeavor. Like you're creating a family, you're creating people, and then you're raising them. It's a creative endeavor
Yeah,
in itself.
that's what pisses me off more than anything in the current society. It's like I have a few like colleagues that pretty much got a family, and like, oh well, it's a kid, that's it. It's like, oh, look at him, he's so cute, blah blah blah. And like they don't understand that a kid, that like a child, is pretty much responsibility. It's one of the most important things that happens in your life, and you actually need to raise the child and teach him a lot of things, rather than shipping him off to a school and then say, oh, they will teach him everything. So
Yeah,
I don't
having
I
your
did my part.
children raised by the state is a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the current mindset of
As Carrie
like
in chat
millennials.
says, okay, but if you make your favorite hobby into a job, it'll start to feel like a job. I don't think that's true. I think that's a meme platitude people say. You're so when you're working, you're exchanging something you dislike, your time. You're doing something you dislike for time for money. If you like what you're doing something you like for money as well. Now you might
Yeah,
say you're going to reach diminishing returns of fun on your thing, but it's still higher. It's still, even if you're like getting burnt out on it and you're writing, it's still more fun than doing whatever the thing was that the other thing that you were doing was.
yeah. For example, my cousin is a surgeon, and
Yeah,
he absolutely loves his job. He tells me that he goes to work with a freaking smile on his face, because when I actually envy that kind of thing. For example, I don't really dislike my job, nor do like it. It's like
yeah,
it's an ends meet. It's something I have to do if I want to fulfill my goals. So if you can find something that you're really passionate about and you really love to do, and it can be a career, just go for it.
yeah. And even if it
It's
can't be a
better.
career, that's fine. Just
Yeah,
I'm gonna favor having more free time so I can pursue writing because that's what I want to do in my life. Like time is more valuable than money, and I want to sit there. I want to write shit. I want to make a creative fucking output with my time over the however many years I have left, like the 50 fucking years. I want most of that to be filled with something useful. I don't want it to be filled by just gathering trinket monies for trinkets, and so I'm not going to be doing that.
or you can spend it all on alcohol and coke and pot,
Yeah,
and talk about it later on.
exactly.
But yeah, that aside, in the current society, I still think it's important to have to like for people who are like right willing to have families, even But the problem is, the only thing I see is that if you're gonna have a family, actually raise the kid instead of fucking just say, oh, look at me, I fucking shit it out a kid, and that's my job is done. I saved the white race.
Yeah, just if you're gonna do the creative endeavor of a family, you gotta put your effort in.
Yeah, I have to actually commit rather than just like
half-assing it.
rather than just half-ass, because
if you're not prepared to be a family man, don't have a family. It's better that way. Don't have a degen family. Don't raise degens.
Because there's too much already there.
Yeah.
Oh, is there any other topics you want to talk about?
Anything you want to talk about? I want to kind of wrap up here. Unless you have any burning questions, any burning stuff.
Did you check out the whole new thing about Iran, where BB went out with a meme board and
I haven't seen it just because
doing a PowerPoint presentation.
I haven't seen it just because of the fucking whatchamacallit, the Kubaki fucking feel started stupid Kabuki theater of politics that's has lost my interest because I see it's such Kabuki theater really, and all the real shit goes on behind closed doors anyways.
Yeah, of course, but it's still kind of prelude though. I mean,
Trump the one thing I did like watching was Zuckerberg at the Senate. That was pretty hilarious.
Oh yeah, wasn't he like sitting on a fucking book or something?
He was sitting on his briefcase, and I was laughing out loud when Ted Cruz was interviewing him, and it was like, and Ted Cruz has gained some weight, and he looks like he's like fat Zodiac Ted, and he's like grilling fucking Zuckerberg. It was hilarious.
Wait a second, wasn't because Tom Cruise or Ted Cruz or whatever shared some kind of something on Facebook not long ago about some hookers or whatever, like a year ago, something like that.
I don't know. I don't really keep up with all that shit.
Yeah, I just think some shit like that just sticks in the mind sometimes. Sticks in your mind. But I guess if we have nothing else to discuss, I guess we can close it down.
Okay. Yeah. So this was a good stream. Somebody in chat says, when your job is something you enjoy, it stops becoming a job. Well, yeah. I think you just have the wrong mentality about it, Carrie. You can do something that you enjoy as a job if you actually functionally enjoy doing it all the time. If you don't, then yeah, obviously you might have to partition it. But if you actually enjoy it.
I think the word job has a negative face on it.
People want to.
People think that a job is something like fucking hell. I just need to fucking slave away, toil.
Well, here's the thing, Carrie. If you think you can burn out on it, then you're not really that passionate or enjoy it that much. You enjoy some aspects of it, but not the act itself. If you really enjoy the act itself more than you would working on other things, you're going to do that more than.
I said people who enjoy their work and what they do is like it's about a fraction. Those are truly like lucky people that manage to find the thing they really love to do and manage to make a profession out of it. Most people don't really get that kind of a luxury. Most of them just like
so partition it if you have to. But if you really do have that passion, then you can definitely do it as a job. I don't know what that fucking ratio looks like for me. Whether it be like 25% some random job and then 75% writing, but I'll find that ratio.
And I think what's the like minimum wage and like the minimum amount of money you spend in US on like.
I could live really cheaply.
And other shit.
I could definitely get like some sort of part-time.
Yeah, exactly. No, you can live on part-time. You can live on part-time. That's not an issue. Just end that.
I won't have fucking nice food, but I don't
care. Oh, you can't really have anything. Get to work, little sheep. You have to pay the tax money. so your government can send it to Israel.
Exactly. More money for them missiles.
For the chosen ones.
All right, yeah. All right, well, I think this is a good stream. We had an hour, 20 minutes. Get off here. Thanks for watching, guys. Anon week 7. Probably have an Anon week 8. Things have calmed down, I think, in the E-sphere. I think we're done with the E-drama for quite some time. And ANCAP will be back Friday. We'll be doing stream.
Just in time for dinner.
Yep.